Today is the last day of the month, and that marks 31 days of not drinking a drop of alcohol. So I'll be 41 in a couple months, and this is just the second time in my life I've stopped drinking for more than a few days. The first time I took a break, I needed to prove to myself that I could. I had never taken a break from alcohol before. My wife and I did it. It felt great. I was proud of myself. But eventually, we ended up back to our old ways once the normal stresses of life returned, and hanging out with those old friends. This time around, well, I'm trying to actually see if I can change my relationship with alcohol. I don't want alcohol to always be on my mind because it always is. I don't want it to be Wednesday and I'm bored at 4 p.m. and the only thing I can think of is a big old glass of wine or a giant IPA, because that's not what I think about right now at 31 days of no alcohol. And I like having room in my brain for ideas, creativity, and curiosity. Can someone like me, someone so used to having drinks 3 to 5 days a week, actually have alcohol in my life without it consuming my everyday thoughts? What's interesting is right now, while I feel good, I don't feel quite as good as I did last time. More on that in a minute. But what's important is that each time I stop drinking, I learn something new about myself. So what did I learn about myself this time? Honestly, this time I learned that alcohol is in fact not responsible for all my problems. Yeah, I just have actual problems. I used to always blame alcohol for my problems, whether it was being tired or negative thinking. Now I know that while alcohol certainly doesn't help those things, it didn't cause those problems in the first place. And now my path to fixing those things is much clearer because I took this break. In case you missed it, I made a video about the first time I quit drinking, which I highly recommend watching, especially if you've never quit drinking before and maybe you want to try it. That video addresses a lot of important things like the fear that comes from stopping drinking for the first time, as well as a lot of the other challenges that came along with it. This video is different because unlike the first video where I made it months after and I was able to reflect on the experience as a whole, with this video I want to share my feelings with raw honesty of how things are right now on the last day of the month, knowing I can have a drink tomorrow if I want to. Okay, I said I don't feel as good as last time. What did I mean? The first time I stopped drinking, I had read Alan Carr's book on quitting drinking, which is fantastic. As well, at the time, I was on a journey reading other self-help books like The Untethered Soul since I was kind of in a funk. And those kind of books lift you up. They offer useful tools and ideas to help your mind find peace and contentment. I was very excited with the skills those books offered, and they gave me a boost to persevere through it all with a positive outlook. However, if you don't stay active with those things, they fade. This time around, over a year later, since I knew I could do the 30 days, I kind of just powered my way through relying on willpower, forgetting all of the lessons I learned from those books on how to be mindful, how to focus on awareness, how to live each day to the fullest. And since I don't really have a routine in my life practicing mindfulness or spirituality, I just let my emotions drive my daily mood, which wasn't ideal. So for me, during this alcohol break, my energy stayed surprisingly low. I mean, it was January and nasty out, so maybe the time of year matters, but I did expect to get more energy, so that was interesting. And also, my brain didn't automatically get happier either. I thought it would, like last time. But again, I think since I wasn't on the self-help train, it didn't. Cravings were strong. I felt kind of out of it. It was a pretty different experience this time around. I think for anyone out there who maybe stopped for 30 days and doesn't think they feel better not drinking, I want to remind you that number one, even though it might not seem like life is better without alcohol, you have to focus on the benefits you actually received, like the calories you didn't consume, the money you saved, the fact that you let your liver and body heal. If you do not start changing your thoughts to focus on the positive, you will not change your brain, and that's the whole point of all of this, to choose joy. And number two, you need to build up some sort of daily practice of gratitude or gratefulness to help enjoy the beauty of what life has to offer. Seriously, I think this could be the secret to life. If you don't learn those tools, not only will you not be happy when you stop drinking, you just won't be happy, period. You can't be. Your brain won't let you. Trust me, remember those problems I said I had that weren't from drinking? Well, that's it. It's my brain. It doesn't want me to be happy. It never learned how. I'm learning now you have to work at that, and I'm excited to say I think I'm onto something. I have some seriously exciting videos coming down the pipes I can't wait to share with the world, so stay tuned. Okay, I have some crazy takeaways from my experience. Let's go walk and talk about them. All right, I got my new camera, I got my new little mic. Let's see, I'm going to be going down these stairs. How does it look? Does that look pretty cool? You know what's something crazy that I just realized this time around quitting drinking for an extended period of time was just how much volume of liquid I would put in my body, especially after a meal. How many times in my life have I eaten a giant dinner, maybe at 7, 8 o'clock, and then drank 4 or 5 huge IPAs afterwards? Like, no wonder I had issues with GERD. Your stomach can't digest food when you've got that much liquid or volume in there. So already this time around, I don't know, just lately I've realized that when I did have a big IPA or two, I can do it before eating, but now when I have a big meal, it's not something that I'm gonna really consider, I think, moving forward. That's gonna be a huge thing for me in the future when I eventually reintroduce alcohol back in my life. I'll be a lot more mindful of how much content I'm filling in my stomach, you know? Look how many steps. I've got over 300 to go. All right, let's talk about how it went for the month. The first couple weeks, the cravings were very strong. Getting through the weekend, especially after the holidays, I mean, we kind of closed off last year with a bit of a bang. We entered the month not feeling super hot. The weekends were really where I struggle and my cravings just kind of get off the hook. I would say out of this whole month, I had strong cravings for wanting to drink for about 3 weeks. The first 2, it was pretty tough to get through. I was pretty bored, but I think around week 1, we ended up getting Corona non-alcoholic beers. We got a flat from Costco, and they were incredibly effective for helping us get through the cravings. Put a little bit of lime in there. We've tried a lot of the IPAs and fake wines and fake tequilas and stuff like that, but I thought the good old fake Coronas, or maybe any of the brands like Heineken or Guinness, they really scratch that itch. So that will definitely be part of our lives in the future. So for that first week, because it was tough and my body is always used to having alcohol, once you remove that, my sweet tooth went through the roof. I've pretty much never had a sweet tooth in my life, and when I removed the alcohol, my goodness, chocolate, sweets, everything just tasted so good. So I think for that first couple weeks, weight loss wasn't really a huge thing for me. I ultimately did lose about 5 pounds by the end of the month. I think just from not taking in as many calories. I think when you drink alcohol, not only do you eat more calories afterwards, you don't really care as much, but it makes it harder for your body to process and digest food properly. When I'm not drinking, I think my body is a lot better at burning calories than when alcohol's in my life. So yeah, all my GERD pretty much went right away. It's been gone. I haven't had any issues with heartburn because I think now that I've been a lot more mindful, like I said, of how much volume was in my stomach, and I'm not really eating at night before bed anymore. So the GERD has pretty much gone away. All right, made it to the bottom. Here we go. Ooh. This is Blueback Beach, one of my favorite spots. So yeah, I said in my last video, I kind of got weird ailments and pains, itchy skin that comes up and you're like, what's happening? I'm trying to heal myself here. Why is my body not liking what I'm doing for it? It's crazy how it takes some time to get past the processing of alcohol. I think honestly, while 30 days is great for stopping drinking, I'm sure there's a lot of other benefits that come for longer periods of time. I'm not sure I'm ready to go longer periods of time quite yet, but maybe for the next one. I think that'll be a really cool challenge because it wasn't until the very end that my thoughts really started to change, and I forgot that alcohol was something that was even available to me. It's weird, once you remove the thoughts of alcohol into that non-drinker mindset, the world is your oyster. It really is. So my sleeps were better. I made a video a while ago on how to fall asleep because I've never been the best sleeper. And while my sleeps were better, especially towards the end of the month, kind of once I stopped thinking so much about alcohol, falling asleep is still trickier for me unless I'm reading. The books really help me fall asleep faster. But what I have noticed about sleeping is that I wake up earlier and feel much more alert, ready to go with the day. Whereas usually with drinking, waking up in the morning, whether it's a headache or just being tired, that's usually a little bit more difficult. I would say my overall stress was better. I think the boredom is really tough for a lot of people because drinking is the activity that we do. And when you remove that, you don't know what else to do with yourself. I feel like from an early age, I couldn't wait to start drinking. My old man drank. I had an older brother who was into smoking and drinking very early, so I probably started at around 12. I couldn't wait to do it. That's what everybody else did. So the older that I got, every single opportunity that I had to drink, I took it.
And to be honest, I've kind of kept that going through my entire adult life. Every opportunity or every chance to have a drink, I've taken it. So now when you remove that, you don't really know what else to do with yourself. So it's been tough trying to be productive with my time. When I get time to myself, I don't really know what to do. But I'm here on the beach. This is what I like to do. I feel great out here. This is really fun for me to explore and find places like this that exist, and they're just beautiful, and it makes me want to go find other places. And then I start looking around on the maps, and maybe if the kids want to come, I'll start geocaching. It's just that series of events and thoughts that keeps going. That is much greater now that I've removed the thoughts of drinking, and I like that a lot. I want to keep that. My emotions and moods are way more reliable and consistent. I guess reliable is a good word. I feel much more reliable than I do when I'm drinking. So the relationship is good. The money's been better too. I mean, my wife's an accountant. She sets out our budget, and I think on average we probably spend around $400 a month on booze. That's a decent chunk of change. That's $5,000 a year. That's a vacation right there. That's a lot of things. Not spending that money is really, really nice. The friendships have been a little trickier. We moved to the island recently, and we've been making new friends, and a lot of our new friends drink. And right now it's tough because when you meet up with new friends, you often drink. So I feel like our relationships and our friendship building for this month hasn't been as strong. But to be fair, I think those people are all pretty cool and they can hang out with us without drinking. So it's just us. I think we're trying to remove the temptations to drink. It would be a little tougher if you're in your small town neighborhood or you've had lifelong friends or siblings and you always drink with them. Those are always tough situations to get through. I think the important thing to remember is that it's not a bad thing doing something new. It's exciting. It's an opportunity. So as long as you have the right mindset, that's really important. It's funny how Saturday nights have changed so much. We're watching a show. We're just finishing watching Succession. I've got my book that I'm reading. It's the Red Rising Series 2, great book. So on our Saturday nights, it's been, I want to watch the show and read my book and go to bed at a reasonable hour, keep that circadian rhythm going, because usually when we stay up and doom scroll all night after I've been drinking, feel like garbage, messes up the sleep patterns, and oh boy, there's just a lot of negative spiral effects that happen from that. I guess instead of having the ups and downs of life without alcohol, it's just much more of a straight line with peace and contentment, and I like that. Yeah, so what does the future look like for me? Am I going to keep drinking? Yeah, thinking about the future with alcohol is a little bit tricky. I'm going to go back into the studio and let's go talk about it.
You know, this is tough. I'm not certain if I reintroduce alcohol in my life, I can keep it out of my daily thoughts. But I also enjoy letting the winds guide me in life and going with the flow, moment by moment. If someone invites me out for a drink, I want to say yeah. At the end of the day, I guess I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too, you know? Have alcohol in my life, but just not go crazy. I still don't know if I can do that, but I'm gonna try. In my first quitting video, we said we would just try not to buy booze or have it in the house and only have it when we're out. But that didn't last. You have guests stay over, so you buy some to stock up for them, or when you have people over, they leave some in your fridge, and all of a sudden it's back to old habits, stocking up for the weekends, etc. So I guess my answer is, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it day by day. I just guess I'm gonna try not to beat myself up and think about it as much as before. I'm gonna try and change my thoughts. I'm gonna try and keep it like caffeine in my life. I quit caffeine and I've stayed off it, though I enjoy having it once in a while. I think I'll stock up the fridge with non-alcoholic beers and just lean into that more often too, because I'm quite surprised at how effective they've been at getting through cravings. It's funny that my brain wants me to poison itself. My head is like, hey, poison yourself once in a while, it's fun, because that's what we're doing, it's true. However, you could say that about anything. Sugar, heck, sitting, screen time. It's hard to live a perfectly balanced life. But for me, I'm realizing it's great to take breaks from things in life I do that I know aren't good for me. It's hard, but it's satisfying. As we age, most of us sink deeper and deeper into our routines, and the deeper we are, the harder it is to get out. I think having an energetic, fun life experience means changing things up, keeping life fresh, trying new things, learning, being curious. And if alcohol is keeping you from doing new things by tricking you into not engaging with life, then maybe it's time to give yourself a look in the mirror to remind yourself that you're worth it and that you're lucky to be here. Life has a lot of beauty and joy to experience. Read the Carr book if you need help to stop with your cravings. Read the Untethered Soul if you need help changing your thoughts to help you appreciate how insane it is that life even exists. And comment below. My first quit drinking video is my most watched video ever, and I have to say the support in the comments has just been awesome. Even still, you're a very kind group of people who want to help each other. So anytime if you want, leave a comment below and let's just chat. It might help you out and it helps me out too. All right, in case you missed my first quitting drinking video, which I think is still worth watching, check that out here. If you want to see my review on the Untethered Soul, check that out here. I quit caffeine and talked about that here. Otherwise, if you want to see more of me, but maybe not about those topics, here's one of my videos that YouTube will suggest. As always, thanks for watching. Thank you for the support with the comments, likes, and subs. I'm gonna go create some non-alcoholic videos for a while. We'll see you next time on The Sad Life.